So this weekend, it's going to be Usman versus Buckley in Atlanta. And it got me thinking, who are my favorite black fighters in the UFC? So today, I'm going to be ranking all the black fighters in the UFC. And yeah, ranking them. Some of them I'm a fan, or some of them I'm not. Give my takes, my opinions on them. And yeah, let's get into it. Hopefully, this will get me one step closer to getting my inward pass one day. So there's 5 tiers. There's favorite black man in the UFC. There's a cool guy. There's I like him. There's me. And there's should go to hell. So yeah, let's get into it. First, Demetrius Johnson. He's probably the bottom of one of my favorite black men in the UFC. Because I don't really watch Demetrius Johnson fight. I was probably like a child when Demetrius Johnson was fighting. I wasn't watching the UFC at that time. But I really enjoy Demetrius Johnson's YouTube channel and his content. I think his YouTube channel is doing really well, and I really enjoyed the content. Also, his podcast that we make, I really enjoy. So, put in one of my favorite black men in the UFC. Then Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane's a cool guy. Cyril Gane's one of the few heavyweight fighters who's already skilled and whose fight style looks aesthetically pleasing. He's very talented because he only started fighting at 25, 26 or something around that age, and he's one of the best heavyweights in the world. He's one of the few people who has a chance to beat Tom Aspinall in the striking match as well. Even though I think Tom Aspinall will probably win, but he has a chance. And yeah, Cyril Gane's a cool guy. Francis Ngannou, I'll put him in May. I'm not a big Francis fan. I just find it pretty hypocritical that he wanted to leave the UFC because the fighters weren't getting paid well, but now he wants to come back to the UFC. I thought you didn't want to go join the UFC because the fighters weren't getting paid well. All of a sudden, where now you can't get fights in the PFL and stuff like that. And I don't know, he disrespected the UFC, so I don't really like that. But I would like him back in the organization. I think that would be cool. Then Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman, I'll put him at the top of me. I don't hate Kamaru Usman or anything like that, but I used to hate him when he was the welterweight champion, because back in the 2020 2021 era of the UFC, Kamaru Usman, he seemed like he was unbeatable, and during that time it was where the wrestlers were overpowered and stuff, and it felt like how it feels like now with the Dagestanis. You feel like they can't beat them and they're gonna ruin the UFC and stuff. It felt like that with the wrestlers and stuff like that. But now Kamaru Usman's lost a bit, and his title reign was probably one of the best in welterweight history. That period when Kamaru Usman was champion, the Masvidal fights, the Masvidal fights, the Colby Covington fights. Those were great times during MMA days. So I can't hate him. And then David Nama. I don't know. I've never heard David. I've heard David Nama speak. I don't really know anything about him, but I just been like him. But damn, I'm not gonna lie. David Nama's black as hell. The difference between 11:59 and David Nama is midnight. When David Nama eats chocolate, he has to wear white gloves so he doesn't bite his fingers. I'm sorry, but he's black as hell. And he has had some good scraps with Mason Jones, and he beat Giga Chikadze, which is a good win. So yeah. David Nama is the top 15. You probably didn't know that. Then John Jones. John Jones probably deserves to go into the should go to hell tier, as committed many sins, such as ducking Tom Aspinall. But I don't really hate John Jones. It's not like I hear the name John Jones and then anger goes through me and my blood starts to boil. It's just man, even though I'm probably a terrible human being because I don't hate John Jones or something. I don't care what you say. But yeah, I don't really hate John Jones, so I'll put him in me. Then Ode Osbourne. Ode Osbourne is a flyweight, and the only thing I remember him of is being knocked out by Manel Cap. But not gonna lie, Ode Osbourne, you look a little bit zesty, I'm not gonna lie. Then Dricus. Dricus is an African, and Dricus Super C has provided and given us fans a lot of entertainment and great scraps in the sport. Probably the middleweight GOAT right now. And he's going to beat Hamza Shimav's ass. So I got to put him in S tier. or not S tier. Put him in one of my favorite black men in the UFC. Then Mark Perry, another brother. And Mark Perry's unfortunately got cut from the UFC, lost a few fights. But then after that, he's had some bare knuckle fights, did well on that. He got knocked out against Jake Paul. And I want to see a Darren Till fight. So yeah, Mark Perry, another brother. Then I forgot Alonzo Menifield. I like Alonzo Menifield. He's had some great fights, like with Jimmy Crute, that very tall guy, and he got knocked out by Azamat Murzakanov. But I put Alonzo Menifield in I like them category because he looks autistic. He is autistic. If you just look at his face, you know he's autistic. Then Morgan Charrier. Morgan Charrier is a cool guy. Has an XXX Tentacion hairstyle, and his fight style is really cool. He's very technical. Even though he lost to Nathaniel Wood, Nathaniel Wood's really good, and even if Morgan Charrier loses, he looks very technical on the feet, and yeah, he's a really good fighter, and I like Morgan Charrier. His fights are always fun and technical. Lerone Murphy, I like Lerone. I can't say his name right now. Interesting fact: Lerone Murphy got shot in the face like 3 times or something, and his face still looks completely fine. And now he's in the UFC, so damn, he's actually like a really, really lucky man. And he beat Josh Emmett in his last fight. He looked good, and also he looked good beating Dan Ige. Then Randy Brown, I put him meh. Yeah, just meh. Aljamain Sterling, meh. Derek Lewis, one of my favorite black men in the UFC. Derek Lewis is one of the funniest fighters in UFC history, so obviously got to put him in there. And also one of the most powerful fighters in the UFC. Then Joaquin Buckley, one of the fighters fighting at UFC Atlanta, and I really like Buckley. Joaquin Buckley makes the sport more interesting with like giving his takes on the division and trash talking and stuff, and having his feuds with Ian Gary and stuff. And his fights are barely ever boring. I can't name a boring Joaquin Buckley fight. I probably can't name more than 5 Joaquin Buckley fights, but nonetheless, Joaquin Buckley is a top contender now, and I think him winning fights is good for the sport. I think he'll beat Usman in UFC Atlanta. Then Israel Adesanya. I'll put him at meh. Everyone hates Israel Adesanya since MMA Guru started hating Israel Adesanya. It became a trend to hate Israel Adesanya. But besides being racist to white people during the 2020 Black Lives Matter period and stuff, and made the Drickers fight about race and stuff, which is actually a good thing because it promotes the fight and makes the fight more entertaining. People were saying he's like a dog molester just because he like flicked his dog's woolly on the video once. I don't think that makes him a dog molester, to be honest. Don't think that's enough proof to say Israel Adesanya fucks his dog, which was pretty crazy. Yeah, I can't believe like a year ago or a year and a half ago, what was the news in the MMA community was Israel Adesanya fucks his dog. Crazy. MMA community is different to the rest of other sports communities. But anyway, yeah, I don't hate Israel Adesanya at all, really. I think he's overhated, to be honest. There's probably worse guys in the UFC who don't get as much hate as Adesanya. So yeah. Then Derek Brunson. I like Derek Brunson. Because I understand how he moved so goofy. He literally one of the goofiest fighters in UFC history. He has goofy physics installed into him by God or something. You know how fighters say they watched GSP and Anderson Silva growing up? Derek Brunson watched Looney Tunes growing up. So I like him just because his fight style is very goofy. Then Curtis Blades. Meh. Kevin Holland. I like Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland beat Vicente Luque UFC 316, and it was a good performance. And I feel like Kevin Holland's now locking in to 170 and is actually going to try get top 5 or top 10 or something like that. And Kevin Holland, if you remember during 2020, when Kevin Holland was like on a 5-5 winning streak and stuff, we were talking about this guy like becoming a champion. I don't remember, but I think we were talking about Kevin Holland becoming champion. Kevin Holland during the 2020 era was one of the most talked about UFC fighters. And that's when he used to like talk more shit in the cage than he does now. So yeah. Bobby Green. Bobby Green's a cool guy. His fight style's cool. It's cool how like quick his reaction time and all that shit is. What else? I also like his head tattoo, to be honest. Bobby Green, or King rather, is a cool guy. Then Sean Strickland, or the Sean Strickland. I like Sean Strickland. Obviously, if you're a MMA fan, you know Sean Strickland's basically black. And he probably does deserve the N-word pass. But yeah, I like Sean Strickland. And he's contributed a lot to the MMA community. Khalil Roundtree, one of the fighters who's fighting at UFC Baku. Him at me. He lost Alex Pereira and he gave a good fight against Alex Pereira. But yeah. And also his Muay Thai is pretty nice. Khalil Roundtree. I like Khalil Roundtree. He's made the sport more entertaining by shit talking Alex Pereira. And also Twitter on he went on arguing with his fans. Even though his fans were like trying to like cheer him up and stuff against the hate and everything. That was funny as hell. So how can you not like Jamal Hill? A lot of people don't, but I like him. Then Tyron Woodley. I don't like Tyron Woodley. I don't think Tyron Woodley should go to hell, but he's definitely below me. So I'm too lazy to make a new tier. So apparently Tyron Woodley should go to hell according to me. But yeah, I don't really like Tyron Woodley. And Tyron Woodley has been through absolute humiliation ritual the past few years. First of all, it started with his song, I'm Gonna Beat Your Ass. He made a song called I'm Gonna Beat Your Ass. And then since then, he lost 7 fights in a row in the UFC. And got beat up and stuff. So that was pretty funny. And then he fought Jake Paul. He lost to Jake Paul. But then he fought Jake Paul the second time and got absolutely knocked out cold in the most embarrassing way. And he face planted on the canvas. Then after he got knocked out against Jake Paul, there was a video of him eating a girl's ass. That's extremely embarrassing. And if I was Tyron Woodley, I don't know if I would still be on this planet because of all the humiliating things he's been through. So Tyron Woodley is very mentally strong. Then Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is one of my favorite black men in the UFC. How can you not love DC? Every few months I got to watch Daniel Cormier and Khabib the funniest moments. They're like a comedy duo. Also, Daniel Cormier had some great fights. He contributed to one of the best rivalries in the UFC, Jones versus DC, and also Stipe versus DC. Those are some of the greatest rivalries in the UFC. And also, he's a very good commentator. He brings energy to the commentary booth. Doesn't matter. I'm not talking about like he's the best analyst in the world or anything. But it's like it just feels right having DC in commentary. And also, like DC, like all the fighters like DC when like DC wrestles with the fighters, and it's like he's friends with all the fighters, which is pretty cool. Not many people in the UFC has that relationship with all the fighters. So yeah, DC is a crucial part of the UFC. Then Leon Edwards, I'll put meh. I'm not a big fan of Leon Edwards. No, his personality I think he's boring as hell. And his last two performances and stuff were just pretty trash. And he just doesn't have any heart. Leon Edwards is like, I come from the slums of Jamaica, but the amount of grit he has in his fights is like he comes from Peaches of Creamville or he grew up in Disneyland. Then Jailton Almeida. I like Jailton Almeida. People say that Jailton Almeida is a boring fighter, but no, Jailton Almeida always gets the finish. And his grappling style is very entertaining because he's literally just going to submit you, no matter who you are. He picks up fat heavyweights and throws them on the ground like a soccer ball. and they bounce, and then the fat heavyweights bounce off the canvas. Then Jailton Almeida submits them eventually. He's extremely, extremely strong. Shoots a takedown against you. There's nothing you can do. There's no way you're going to be able to defend that double leg of Jailton Almeida unless you knock him out. So yeah, I like Jailton Almeida. Then Rampage Jackson, probably one of my favorite black men in the UFC. I never watched Rampage Jackson fight, but he's funny as fuck. So I gotta put him there. Then Jared Cannonier, I'll put him as meh. His last fight with Gary Rodrigo was really good though. I don't really have any strong opinions about Jared Cannonier. I don't know why I said that, but I don't know, just trying to finish this video as quick as possible. Then Jordan Vicinich. Jordan Vicinich is nearly a full black man. So maybe in a few years he will become a full black man. So I might as well put him in the black tier list. I'll put him as me. Trajan Gore, Darren Till's black cousin. Trajan Gore said he's gonna become a boxing champion and a UFC champion at the same time. So I don't know. I'm still waiting for that. So I like Trajan Gore. Then Torres Finney. Torres Finney, a lot of people don't like him because of his last performance. But damn, he's jacked as hell. He looks like he's going to fight me over some creatine. He should actually become a bodybuilder. It's actually insane how jacked this guy is. How many protein bars is he smuggling into the Apex? Then Temba Garimba. I like Temba Garimba. I don't know why I like him. Maybe he's Zimbabwean. I don't know. And The Rock gave him a house, so that was pretty cool. Then Neil Magny. Neil Magny, I don't really like. But he shouldn't go to hell. No Tyron Woodley. I think that's a bit too far from me. But yeah. Neil Magny, I just don't like. He's so bad at fighting. Like, he's just so bad. It's just frustrating watching him fight. Just throw 2 leg kicks and he's done. And if you lose to Neil Magny, then you should honestly reconsider a new career. Like that Canadian guy lost, Mark Bellot, he lost to Neil Magny. I don't know how the hell you beating Neil Magny over 3 rounds, and like the last minute of the 3rd round, you lose to him. That is just absolutely the definition of getting fraud checked if you're losing to Neil Magny. But yeah, Neil Magny sucks as a fighter though. But nothing against the guy at all. Hope he has a good laugh. Then MVP. MVP is a cool guy. I like MVP. And his fighting style is insane. He has some of the craziest KOs in MMA history. And MVP is extremely explosive. And yeah. Then finally, Manal Cap. Manal Cap's my favorite black fighter. No cap. Just, there's so many things about him. It sounds like I'm going to glaze him. But I'm going to glaze Manal Cap. So let's start off. First of all, his fight style is very aesthetically pleasing. His head movement, the angles, his feints. He's so fast on the feet. And his striking is beautiful to watch. The combinations he was playing on Bruno Silva. And the emotes he was doing. Like those squat emotes and everything like that. And then after he was beating up a Manal Cap, talking to Dana White during the middle of the cage. Like the charisma and aura, Manal Cap is absolutely insane. His post-fight interviews are insane, especially when he called out Cara France and called him something which rhymes with maggot. Also, Manal Cap has no fear. He always gets in fights, the UFC backstage, and was trash talking Israel Adesanya between Tatu Vasa. And Manal Cap didn't know that Tatu Vasa wasn't going to actually hit him in the face or not because isn't Tatu Vasa friends of Adesanya? So trash talking Israel Adesanya with Tatu Vasa between you, that just shows absolute balls you must have as a flyweight, especially. Manal Cap has the aura of someone who's 6'6". So yeah, it's your boy Sasper MMA. Hope you enjoyed the tier list. Let me know any other fighters I missed out. And yeah, I'm out, and watch my other videos.